It's a beautiful day and I am super excited. I have the OG Kudi of Chandigarh, Khushbu Kochar Garewal with me at my Soho, and I'm so glad you've made it here. Thank you for coming. We have Khushbu, who started her journey as a VJ and now a playback singer, a global artist. Thank you for coming to my Soho, Khushbu. How have you been?
Thank you so much for having me. In fact, when I was told that I have to be here for this podcast, Chandigarh always has my heart. And I might have been away for many years, but Chandigarh is what made me what it is today.
It is special.
So I cannot ever say no to my Chandigarh family, my Chandigarh peeps, and of course Puneet, that's Tushar's wife, is my childhood friend. We were Chandi buddies, went to school together. So when she said this has to be done, this had to be done. So I had to be here, and I'm so glad you're doing this, Tushar, because I think the city needs to really see the journey and get inspired by beautiful stories, right? I think we all need some inspiration.
So this is absolutely what we're trying to do, and you are here. So let's start with how your education ended and how you transformed and picked up VJ as a career, or was that by chance or by default, or you made that certain choice?
So I think growing up, and all my school friends and college friends would testify this, that I was a naughty. Right from school, there was no event that went by with me not being on stage. I think that's where I belonged, and that was something I realized very early on. And of course, I would like to give credit to, of course, my parents for, at that time allowing the freedom to a girl child in a place like Chandigarh was very, very different, right? It was viewed very differently. Now, of course, things are very different. The exposure our children get is very different. The mediums that are available to them to showcase their talent is very different. But back then, there wasn't much.
True.
So, but other than my parents, of course, the platform that I got from my school, my college, I think that really gave me a lot of exposure, a lot of confidence. And I remember, the initial starting to be on stage, or the motivation was attendance मिल जाएगी. To be very honest, पहले होता था यार चारों पांचों friends हैं, सब कर लेते हैं, sign up play के लिए 100% attendance मिल जाएगी. No play भी, but as I started doing that, I realized this is something I love. I enjoy it. Just being on stage, being in front of an audience. So at a very early age in school, I started choreographing dances. They were pathetic now when I look back at how the choreography was. But it was just, that ownership, that feeling of being on stage, that getting rid of that inhibition at a very early age, taking that sort of leadership at that time, that really paved the way for something I never thought would become a profession. Coming from a doctor's family, I never even, every girl dreams of, wearing the Miss India crown. That time, Femina Miss India was a big thing. So, draping the dupatta like a sari and doing a catwalk in front of the mirror was the thing. But that was it. I never really thought that I'm going to actually be a professional artist. So I had my eyes set on my education. I was very clear that I want to get into the corporate side of things. So I went ahead and did my MBA. And God has different plans for you, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So it's amazing that, I'd gone on a different journey, but ended up doing something completely different. And I love it. And I love the fact that none of this has been planned, which just goes to show that whatever is destined for you is going to come to you. So I think so many times especially in today's world, when we get so competitive, when we start thinking that, oh my God, so-and-so is doing so well, or so-and-so has got this opportunity, we start envying them, or we start praying for their downfall, or we start, whatever's meant for you is going to find its way to you. And there's really nothing that, of course, you can manifest it, you can work hard for it, but eventually what's yours is going to be yours. So it's just as accidental as it can be.
This is our 4th episode, and honestly, you're the 4th artist who has said exactly the same thing.
Oh my God!
And it just reinforces this belief
Yes.
that let things happen. whatever is meant to happen will eventually and just and
Yes.
manifest happiness. Just let things happen. Don't
Absolutely.
put weight on your heart
Yeah, and as
for no
long as
reason.
you're enjoying what you're doing, I think that has to be the center of everything.
Uh-huh.
If you are passionate about what you do, it brings you joy.
Hmm.
I don't think how it ends up should make a difference.
Hmm.
I know people who could not become professional singers. They're in the corporate side of things, but they make sure that they make time for music, or they started singing in a cafe, or they started taking guitar lessons. And just because you could not professionally pursue something doesn't mean that it should not give you the joy that it can give you.
Correct.
It doesn't have
Absolutely.
to eventually end up being a means of income for you.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a profession for you. It can be a part of your life. It can be a big part of your story without it becoming a stream of income. So, so this is also for those who, I remember, when I was growing up in school and college, and we used to have these shamak dance classes and summer funk, and so I mean, I bump into so many people now and I see, how's the dance going on? कहाँ यार, time ही नहीं है, तो बच्चे हो गए, काम है यार, फुर्सत नहीं मिलती. And I always tell them, I said, make time for things you love. Because that's totally in your hands. To give yourself that moment of joy, because it's something that brings you that pleasure, brings you that happiness. Just because it's not your profession doesn't mean it can't be in your life, right?
I agree. I think by following a passion,
Yes.
it may not be your income, but it paves the way for your entire, day plan, everything.
Yes, it sets the tone.
Sets the tone.
And it also energizes you for maybe mundane things that
Yeah.
you don't enjoy so
True.
much, but that's where you can draw your energy from and then infuse that energy into other parts of your life. So I think it's so important to kind of keep at it.
Keep at it.
And love what you do, and do only things that you love. Because only then will you be able to give your 100%. Or I think it's very important to kind of identify. So many people just end up living their
Identify.
entire
Yeah,
life
absolutely. That's something
Yeah.
very important.
without consciously even sitting and thinking about what is it that I truly love. We've been conditioned to live our life in certain patterns, and there are millions who don't question that pattern, and they just follow it blindly. And they're probably on their deathbed, and you ask them, what is it that you regret doing? And say, I regret not doing things that I love to do.
Yeah.
So life is short.
Correct.
I think if we
Yeah.
are
One
lucky
life.
enough and
Yeah.
mindful enough to identify
Yeah.
things that give us joy, income, no income, profession, no profession, just keeping them close to us, making time for them, I think that's very important.
I love that.
Yes.
How was your shift from as a VJ to a professional singer? How was that?
So it's actually quite funny. Again, one of those things which was unplanned. So between the VJ and the singing came acting.
Okay.
And VJing also, it's very funny, and I'd love your audiences to know this. When I reached Bombay, there was this line that everybody used to say, "Sahi time pe," to be at the right place at the right time is very important. And that's truly something that I experienced once I reached Maya Nagari. I didn't know anything. When we moved, there was just one actress, Simple Call, who is a very popular television actress. She was a catalyst in helping me move. And of course, my husband, who said, you have this talent. What are you doing in Delhi, anchoring? This is not going to get you anything. If you really want to do this, let's go to Bombay. Stay there for a year. Things don't work out. We have our degrees. We come back. We pick up a corporate job. Okay, we said, yeah, great. Nothing to lose. Life's good.
Yeah.
So we moved. So my friend said, okay, first thing, you need to join a good gym. Because that's where everybody meets, right? So you go, you join a good gym, you start meeting people there. I said, okay, great. Enrolled for a gym, signed up. This is a dear friend's gym. I don't think he knows this, Nitin Gupta, if you're listening to this. It was in your gym that I got my first break. We've never spoken about this. And Salil Acharya, who is a very famous VJ, RJ actor, used to come to the same gym. So my friend Simple, she said, Salil, यार मेरी खुशबू friend चंडीगढ़ से आई है, ये बड़ी अच्छी, ये बड़ा बोलती है, ये बड़ी बातें करती है, she's very chatty, she'll be a great VJ. That time Salil was VJing for Be For You Music. Salil said, okay. So he came once or twice. He saw me in the gym yapping away with someone or the other. So one day he's telling me, तुम ट्रेडमिल पे चलती हो, तुम्हारे पैर से तुम्हारा मुंह चलता है. So I said, oops, I don't know what to say to that. So he said, come for an audition.
But you noticed?
हाँ,
You
he said,
noticed?
come for an audition. I said, Sykes के membership के पैसे निकल गए, you know. So and at that time, it was a big struggle to pay for a good gym because I had not started earning. I was right out of college. I had nothing called savings. So we were just trying to make ends meet at that point. And so I went for this audition. I gave the audition and I was so nervous. And all I had to do was just look into a camera and just talk away. And I was like, man, how do you do that? I need a human to have a conversation with. How can I just start looking into a camera and start talking? Little did I know that is going to be my profession for 7 years, right? I gave the audition and I did not hear from them for 3 months. So I said, damn, somebody else got the job, somebody is better than me. Of course, why would I get? I have no experience, I know nothing, I'm not good enough, and blah blah blah. Until one day I'm sitting at home, I get a call. हाँ जी, हम बीफीओ से बोल रहे हैं, फटाफट से धर्मिंदर के घर पहुंची. I thought it's a prank call. I said, sorry, I don't work in BFU. I think you've got the wrong number. नहीं मैम, sorry, आपको HR ने कॉल नहीं किया? I said नहीं. Sorry शाह, आपका सिलेक्शन हो गया है, आपका ऑडिशन देख के you've been shortlisted, you've been selected, and today is the shoot. You need to reach Dharminder's house and Abhay Deol का interview for Honeymoon Travels Private Limited. I said, OMG, okay, like his makeup artist is reaching you in half an hour. I say, okay, so the makeup hair team has arrived to my house. At my house, they get me ready. We drive to Dharminder's bungalow, and I'm like, I'm standing outside Dharminder's bungalow, and I'm like, I've arrived. I call her mother. Guess where I am? Outside Dharminder's bungalow, going inside to shoot. These are what dreams are made of, right? I mean, from a small town in Chandigarh, who thought that I would be, sitting there. It's not something I ever imagined. And there I am inside, just like how, we're chatting, Abhay and I, and that was just the beginning of a career that became so close to my heart. It gave me so much. Those 7 years of being in B4U, it was amazing. And while that was happening, Mahesh Bhatt's assistant saw me VJing a show and called up Salil again and said, listen, teri ye VJ, it was an English channel, so he said, teri VJs ko Hindi aati hai? He's like, of course yaar, she's a Punjab di kudi hai, Hindi is very good. Isko audition ke liye bhej. So I went, auditioned for us 3, ended up getting a very good role as Kangana's best friend. Did that again through B4U, got through Punjabi films, met Manmohan Singh ji, who was one of the biggest directors, filmmakers in Punjab. That kick-started my Punjab film journey. Poogie ji and I paired very well. It was a film received beautifully by everyone. And then he recommended me to other filmmakers, and that's how Carry On Jatta happened, and Pajeen Problem, and one thing led to the other. So while all this was happening, now as you can see, none of this was planned by me. I just went to Bombay saying कि देखी जाएगी, let's give it a shot. Anchoring कर लूँगी या जो भी.
Maximum क्या होगा?
हाँ.
वापस आ
जाएंगे. So I'd gone for some birthday party. It was a karaoke night, and somebody was singing Sheila Ki Jawani, and they were doing a horrible job at it. So I couldn't resist myself. I just snatched the mic and I started singing. Now at that party were the music composer duo Meet Brothers, who saw me singing. And not only did they see me singing, but they also saw me vibing and making, oh, come on guys, sing with me, and making them इसके अंदर performer छुपी हुई है. They said, तुम आ जाओ कल studio. I said, what? No, I'm not a singer. And I said, listen, just come to the studio. They made me sing a song. Within a week, I got a call. It's been approved by T-Series. It's coming on Sunny Leone, Pink Clips, my debut. And I was like, what is just happening? And so, I think that is when I realized, and when I did a couple of shows with them, which again, they had to really push me for, I realized, okay, that's it. I just love being on stage. I just love being on stage, performing, entertaining people. Just that's what I thrive on. And that was the entire story of 20 years in a
Lovely.
capsule.
So, bhaiyo, tip of the day: join a good gym, build your health, and build your network.
क्या बात है? Absolutely. Moral of the story.
Moral of the story.
Moral of the story. So yes.
Tell me something now. You've completely told about how it happened. Now there is some inconsistency also because जरूरी नहीं है कि काम कब आएगा.
बिल्कुल.
कभी भी आ सकता है.
कभी भी आ सकता है.
बड़ा भी आ
नहीं
सकता है, नहीं भी आ सकता.
नहीं भी आ सकता.
So how do you take those days when and there is a struggle? I'm sure.
Of course.
It's not
Of
easy.
course.
It's not a cakewalk.
No life is struggle free to begin with.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's very easy to sit and imagine that, oh man, so and so is so lucky, so and so's life must be like they've arrived. Like they've done this, and they've arrived. But you listen to anybody's interview, right from Amitabh Bachchan ji to Shah Rukh Khan to even the biggest international pop stars, and you listen to their stories and you're like, man, right? The intensity might be different, the needs might be different, but the challenges remain in
real,
life.
it's
And
real.
if there is no challenge in life, then what is life all about? I mean, if you're not striving for more, and when I say more, it's not just in terms of money or fame. More is to seek more from your own potential. There comes a time when you've been doing something for so long that it stops challenging you. It might be paying you great guns, but you're like, okay, I mean, this is it now. What more can I do with my own talent, with my own potential? I know I'm capable of doing something more than this. I can contribute some more. So yes, of course, I think as an artist, the insecurities that come with the job are huge. They're massive. And I think what really keeps you grounded, at least what helped me, was to have a solid partner. I was too young to understand that I need to be emotionally and mentally independent. I wasn't. I was somebody who was very emotionally and mentally dependent on my partner. And I think just coming back home to that sort of stability, that really grounded me. And also partner who can encourage you on the days when you need it, when you're low, can push you on the days when you're being an absolute lazy ass, and can criticize you on your face without worrying about how you're going to take it. I think that is the biggest grounding you can give yourself. Now that could be a partner, that could be a friend, that could be a flatmate, that could be a parent, it could be anybody in your life, but you need that sort of ecosystem to remind you that every day is different. I think to continue to kind of work on yourself. I think for me that's a big one. And again, it doesn't have to be only something that translates into professional output.
Right.
It can be just working on my health. It can
personal.
be working on learning something new, learning a new skill. It can be just enhancing my own personal capabilities as a human first. Bringing my human potential to an optimal level. And of course, working on your skills, right? Whatever your profession is, if you want to up your game, you got to master your skills. So, I think investing time in yourself is very important. Investing time in your skills, taking care of your health. Many years of my VJ career, I have wasted sleeping at odd hours. There was a time when I would be up till 4 in the night partying. And when I say partying, it's not like clubbing or going out. It's just having friends over. And the industry is up till very late. That's how Bombay functions. And then it starts very late. Like if I would have called a coordinator before 12 p.m. in the afternoon, they'd be like, hello, aaj audition hai kya koi? 12 baje ke baad phone karna. They don't operate. They don't operate. So things were very different. So my body clock, my lifestyle was very, very different. So I would be up like till 3-4 in the morning, would sleep till 12-1, and I'd gotten into my comfort zone during my VJ career, and I said, this is it. I mean, life is great. You just go for 4 days of shoot, you get like a good fat paycheck, which I used to compare at that time with if I had taken a job after my MBA, my peers are getting this much. Oh, I'm getting double dip. That's good enough.
Comparative.
Comfort zone. It was only, I think, post I got into music and I got out of my VJing job that I had to work every day to earn my living is when I realized, because as a PJ you get paid like a monthly salary. So whether they shoot with you or not, you're going to get it's like a sarkari job. So that kind of got me a little easy, and I wasted a couple of years, and I take total responsibility for that. Like at least 3 or 4 years of just being in limbo, of just enjoying that money, going for a couple of shows, traveling, shopping. That's it. Wasted my life. And once I got into music and I realized, okay, the months that there is no show, there is no income. Oh, okay, how is this going to work? So then to understand how to build that business, that's when all the education came handy, and one is still learning. I think every day you're like, okay, what's the new challenge today, and how is it that we're going to combat that? But it's beautiful. I love it. I love the fact that life is not monotonous. I love the fact that every day one has to think of firefighting, a new thing. But it's also that over the years, when you've dealt with the insecurity of a job like that, there comes a point when you make peace with it. There comes a point when you know that, okay, 6 months is going to be so hectic that you won't have time to breathe. And then there would be 2 months when, you'll have all the time for Pilates and yoga and sleeping early and waking early and doing your thing and having a routine. So, now I look forward to my season months as much as I look forward to my off-season months, because I have so much to do with myself. Because I've grown to understand that my biggest journey is with me, myself. It's not with my career, it's not with my income, it's not with my partner, it's not with my child, it's with me, myself.
First that, then
everything.
everything.
So now, I look forward to my free days because I have so much planned for my journey, for my own soul journey, my own mental journey, my own spiritual journey, my own emotional journey, and everything else can follow suit.
So when you said that all those years you wasted, I would rather put it in that manner, that maybe your transformation just took a little bit longer.
Maybe it was a caterpillar waiting to become a butterfly.
So let's not call it wasted.
Good. Yeah. I stand corrected right there.
So at my Soho, what we are doing, we just learned that when you went to Bombay, you gave yourself a year, you gave yourself time कि हम start करेंगे, फिर देखेंगे, and क्या होगा maximum.
Yeah.
So why we are building My Soho in Chandigarh and North India? We have 18 offices as such. You are here at one of the offices. So we have multiple offices in many towns of North India, now going to Bhopal and other towns.
Wow.
What we are doing is we are creating private offices which people come pick. They can try and test waters in business.
Brilliant. Without having to invest.
Absolutely. Without getting into a conventional space.
Super, that's amazing.
Like no contract doing, no commitment of 2 years, no investing in your office.
Brilliant.
Just come.
That's amazing.
Pick a plug and play office. See where it goes, build your team, upsize, downsize anytime, and you're sorted.
Makes sense.
So I believe that I think this is the future for business.
Yeah, 100%.
Because office is...
It already is in the West.
Absolutely.
That's how people operate, and they've been doing that for many years.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a fantastic way for people to really get out of their comfort zone.
True.
And get rid of the inhibitions and take that leap of faith and say, you know what, let's just do it and we'll see where this goes.
True.
So that's amazing. Kudos to you and My Soho, and wishing you guys the best.
Thank you.
Because this is amazing.
So this series is called True Lies.
Okay.
So I'm going to fire a few questions before we end the podcast.
Okay.
And you just need to reply, was it true or it's a lie or a myth?
Oh, okay. Do I have to be honest?
We'll rather see. So I think one you have already answered. That did you plan on becoming an artist?
No.
So
I dreamt of becoming an artist, but I didn't plan on becoming one. There's a difference.
Have you done paid collabs?
Yes.
And has it ever happened that a paid collab and you didn't get paid for?
No.
So that's
I did get underpaid.
Underpaid.
Which I realized after, and I was like, damn. You know how that happens? You buy a suitcase at a store and then you find the same suitcase cheaper at the next store. You're like, ooh, I just got tricked.
So that's the realization.
I did a collab with a big brand and I thought I got a very good deal. When, just the next deal that I did, I was like, oh, that pinched, So yes, underpaid.
Have you been ever affected by paparazzi?
No, I think I am very detached to my to the output of my work.
Yeah.
And I think that's that's a big blessing, and in fact that's something that I would like to talk about, because talking about how you kind of stay stable in an environment which is so volatile. And this is something colleague had said to me, Harmeet from the Meet Brothers, one of the brothers. He mentioned this when I had gone for a dubbing of a scratch. It's a dummy song, and he said, when you walk out of the studio after you sung this song, I want you to go out of the studio and forget that you sung it. Forget. Whether you get a call back, it's confirmed, not chase anybody, not call, not, if it comes in your voice, great. If it doesn't, I think that really stayed with me. There were times I would go on stage and I would see people are not dancing only. I would get so demotivated, like there's something wrong with me only. Oh, today my voice, today my energy, today my songs. Until I realized that, okay, if you do 10 gigs and if at 2 gigs people are not dancing, clearly, you understand there's something else that's not working. It's not you. Of course, it's good to introspect, to self-criticize, take positive feedback and keep working on yourself. But at the same time, there's also a point when you got to step back. Yeah, I mean, there have been times that I have had a song release and I have not gone and checked how many views it's had. Because once my job is done and it's out there, I have zero control. So I don't wish to know. I don't know. Today, if you ask me numbers, I have no idea which song has how many views, because I've never gone and checked. So I think there's some level of detachment from the output, not from the effort. Your input has to be your own because that's in your control, but the output is not in your control at all. There have been films I've done, I've not gone and seen those films. So I think I'm detached from my output. It doesn't matter to me how it's going to fare, how it's going to be taken, how it's going to be rewarded, how it's going to be trashed, what's going to be written about it, or it doesn't make a difference to me.
So I remember this line from a recent movie of Taapsee Pannu, and her father telling her that कोशिश करना हमारा काम है, result और नतीजा तो बाद का है. So there's a particular line which I don't remember exactly, but this was something which stayed with me. And stop over expecting, especially from yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
It'll happen.
Absolutely.
Great. So again, a very funny question: that have people actually come up to you, asked for a picture, then asked for your name?
Yes, so often. So what also happens with having done films is so many people know my screen name. So they'll say Preet. Oh, Preet, and they'll take a picture and everything. So, thada na kisi So many, and also, how the herd mentality works. You're at an airport, somebody takes a picture. So 5 other people think, koi to hogi. Photo खिंचवा लेते हैं. So पहले photo खिंचवा ली, कि भी लोग खिंचवा रहे हैं तो मतलब she's someone. And then they say, sorry, आपका नाम क्या है? आपको कहीं तो दिखकर याद नहीं आ रहा. So of course it's really funny, but and there are so many people who are like Punjabis but have not seen my films or don't. So many times people feel, oh sorry, we didn't know, we've not seen your films, and like it's okay, it's absolutely fine. There's so much content that I haven't consumed, and that's absolutely okay. So you will have all sorts of audiences, people who don't even watch. Somebody will get like a 2-year-old and say, "Thirty, बहुत बड़ी fan." So I find that so cute because maybe they're not willing to say कि भी हम आपसे साथ photo खिंचाएं. So they'll get the little child and say, "मैं उनको तो पता भी नहीं कि मैं है और so." But yeah, so these kind of funny things do happen all the time.
But I've realized when people actually walk up and get a picture, they become fans from then.
You're right.
And उसके बाद में they'll go home and watch that movie.
Yes, you're right. That does happen.
So why not,
Absolutely.
Have you ever misused your name to get a store discount?
Store discount?
Or anything in your favor?
Yeah, I won't say misused. I think there was a time when I used to think that it is misuse. And I'd like to explain this how. There was a time when, we used to be in groups, and if we would not get entry at some place, or the place would be full, or the management is kind of acting a little pricey, my friends would drop names and say, yaar, unko bolo, so and so bahar khade hain, whatever. And I used to feel like, damn, that's not done, or, whatever. But then I realized that these are perks of the job. I mean, if I'm going to be getting into a restaurant and I'm saying, you know, I'll post about your restaurant or your story or whatever, it's a win-win for everyone. I mean, they're benefiting from it as well. It's not like I'm asking for any free favors from anyone. There have been times when I've been stopped by, you know, maybe a traffic cop, you know, and say, "Sir, aapne pehchana nahi, sir, carry on chitta nahi dekhi." Arey, acha, you know. So yes, I am guilty of that. But you know, I think it's all done in a very harmless,
fun way.
sweet way. I'm like, sir, आप देखना ना जाके मैं, आप बताना अपनी wife को, मैं वीडियो बना देती हूँ उनके लिए, you know. So things like that. So yes, definitely, I won't lie.
I think in India, na, there is a certain you know a way we get out of things.
Of course.
Small gestures.
And especially if you're a girl, it does kind of, kar do na sir, you know, like you kind of use that to your advantage. And I have no qualms in accepting that I have done that a couple of times when the situation has been a little dire. But not just to get a store discount or something. It's like if we're at a national park and we're a big group and we're not getting the booking for safari, that's when, you know, I'll probably otherwise you'll not see me throwing my weight around or using my name. In fact, just recently I'd gone on a retreat and they were all folks from Bombay, and when I introduced myself, I didn't even say that I'm a singer or an actor or from the media, and it's only when we all went out to dine during those 5 days that there was a Punjabi sitting at the table across and said, "Oh my God, you're the actor from Carry On Jatta." And the people who were with me from the retreat, they're like, "Why did you tell us?" I'm like, "Because it doesn't matter. Over here, I am a participant just like each one of you, and I don't want that extra attention just because I'm a media personality. You know, sometimes you don't want it. You don't want to be treated differently. You want to be treated just like anybody else." So I think I won't call it misuse, but yes, I've definitely taken advantage of the fact that, you know.
I'll tell you a small story which I don't think I've ever told anyone. It's a very funny story. So me and Puneet were in Jaipur, and it was Jan, and it was 35 degrees, and we never expected Jaipur to be so warm.
In Jan? Wow.
And we wanted to visit the Hawa Mahal, and we were standing in queue, and we were the 50th person in queue. And that queue didn't just seem to move, and we were sweating. So I'm not going to stand in line for 3 hours just to get an entry ticket. You know, somehow the ratio of bald people in India are very less.
Correct.
And some people ask me, "Are you an NRI or are you from States?" So I took that advantage.
Interesting.
I went to the NRI line.
Very
Only one person was
interesting.
standing.
Really?
But I paid the NRI fees.
Fair enough.
It was 10 times.
Fair enough.
But I got inside in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's about convenience. Sometimes it's also, you know, I feel like if there is a way one can get around without really harming anybody or, you know, getting in the way of somebody.
Right.
I don't see any problem in doing that.
On that note, a big thank you for coming over, and what a pataka conversation we've had with you. And
So
thank
glad.
you for being so genuine.
Thank you. Please.
More and more success, more and more shows,
Thank you.
more and more singing.
Thank you.
Hope to see you on TV every day.
Thank you, so sweet.
Thank you for
and
coming.
Thank you to all your viewers and listeners, and I hope that your show touches great heights and you manage to get the kind of conversations
Thank you.
that you want from your speakers and your guests. So thank you once again for
Thank you.
having me,
Thank
and
you.
hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you.